So this is a 2-minute running warm-up. If you do have a band, a little booty band, you can use that. Just a bit of extra resistance. If not, it doesn't matter. We can just use body weight. So we're going to start from the bottom up, and we're going to go with toes to heels. Toes to heels first. Now, the reason we do this is because we're activating the calves as we come up onto our toes and activating our tibs, our tibialis anterior. Now, often commonly missed, but these are so important for when we're running because they're involved in our plantar flexion and our dorsiflexion. And over time, if they aren't able to withstand all that load when we're running longer distances, then that's where we start to get the breakdown and injuries of certain muscles. Next one, we're coming into a single leg raise. So we're coming into some straight leg hip flexion. Now, when we're doing this one leg up, one leg straight, we want to make sure there's no arch in the back. So we've got that tension in the core, just gently flattening the back, and then from here coming up, so activating through the hip, core, psoas, and back down. Up, back. So we're going to go for 10 on each side. So next one, we're going to get the hips ready for hip extension. So we're just going to come into a split stance position, and then from here, there should be no tension. As we come down and then back up, we're going to squeeze the glute, make sure that core's switched on, and you'll feel that stretch and contraction through the glute. So here through the hip flexor, through the glute. So we've got that hip back in that extension position, that hip extension position. So just going for 5 on each side. So down, squeeze the glute, core's on. Down, squeeze the glute, core on. Making sure we're not arching the back either. So we want to have the hips in this position. Same on the other side. Hips, not arching through the back. Hips, coming down, squeeze the glute. Down, squeeze the glute. Feeling that stretch and that activation. So 5 and 5. Next one, we're coming into leg swings. Now, I see this all the time with leg swings. People go forward, back, and again, they're using that lower back, they've got that arch. We want to stop that. We want the leg coming through flexion and extension, utilizing the glutes, but without that extra help of the lower back. And that's where a lot of people get that overuse and start to get things like lower back pain when they're running. So, hips forward, back, and forward. Shouldn't be feeling any lower back taking over. Only that glute coming back, hips forward. Back, hips forward. So 10 and 10 on each side. Next one, plyo pause. This is where this one comes in. So if you do have the booty band, a bit of extra tension, just helps with that extra abduction when we go from side to side. If you don't have it, it doesn't matter, it's okay. So from here, we go out, pause, 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 pause. Now the key with this one is making sure you do it properly and actually pause. If we're just doing it like this, we're not going to get anything out of it. Stepping out. And the band just gives us that extra resistance for our abduction as we come out to the side. Next one, coming into the hip flexors again. If you don't have the band, that's fine. We're just doing it with body weight. The idea is we're using the psoas, we're using the hip flexors. We start in hip flexion position, and then we're stepping 1, 2, 3 to pause. In fast motion, so holding for 1, 2, and then 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're just going to go for 10. Without the band, same thing, just less tension, holding up. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, hold. Next one, coming into a straight leg shuffle and a skip. So we're really trying to get the hip back into that extension position, flexion, extension, using that glute. So the shuffle and the skip, driving that forefoot into the ground. Little bend in the knees, soft knees, so we're not locking out. And then into that skip. Flexion, and then still driving the forefoot into the ground. So, very simple movements, but when we do them properly, when we activate all the components that we need when we're running, it makes a world of difference.